Well, here we go. Tomatoes. After taking a couple weeks off and giving away several 5-gallon buckets because, frankly, I'm just tired of looking at them, I think I have one last effort in me. And so today I'm going to hopefully throw together some barbecue sauce and maybe call it quits on tomatoes for the season. I thought I'd already done that, but like I said, after a couple week break, I think I can handle one more round of tomatoes. So we're gonna make barbecue sauce today. Pretty simple process that I'm doing. I'm actually trying a little bit of something different this year, but I'm not worrying about blanching, skinning, taking the seeds out or anything right now. I am just simply washing them, taking the cores out, and then I am just going to chunk them and put them into pans. Along with some hot peppers and bell peppers and some garlic. And then we're going to throw them in the oven and bake them until they cook down. And then we'll drain all of the excess liquids off of them so that we can thicken this up a little faster. So, all right. My goal is to have all of this done today and hot water bathed and sitting by the time I have to leave here at a little after 2 to pick up the kids. So, yeah, let's do this. So all my pans here are loaded up for the oven. I ended up having about 25 pounds or so, I'd say, give or take, on the tomatoes. Like I said, I'm just rough cutting those. I'm not skinning those. I'm not taking the seeds out, just chopping them down and quartering them and throwing them in pans. I then also threw, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 medium to large bell peppers in there. I did break down and put a couple of jalapenos in there. Our jalapenos this year are super hot. So I did only use 3 small ones of those and just kind of divided them up between the pans. I've got like 3 large onions, some garlic. Sorry guys, I measured out literally nothing. And then for the sake of time, because I'm burning through it pretty quickly here, instead of going out and cutting more celery down from the garden, I did just go ahead and grab some that I had already had chopped up and thrown in the freezer to save. So yeah, so these are all good to go and just big, huge, rough cut chunks. And we're going to throw them in a 350-degree oven for, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. Hopefully they'll cook down. They'll be sitting in a good amount of liquid that we can dispose of later because I do not want that liquid. But we're going to do this and cook them down so that we can eliminate the whole really, really long process of cooking to the point of thickness. I'm going to do it this way so I can soften my veggies and then hopefully just drain that liquid off and omit the hours of cooking down on the stove. So, yep, that's where we're at. All right, I've pulled out all of the pans from the oven. So they're all sitting out. And we are going to take these and dump them into our colander here and remove all of that excess liquid on here. So here we go. Get that done. So I'll simply grab this and start draining all of that liquid off. So we can get all of that out of there. And there went all of that extra moisture that we're not going to want. And again, this is all trial and error for me. This is brand new to me. I have not done it this way before, but I'm really, really hoping that this is a time saver in getting rid of all of the liquids so that I don't have to cook and cook and cook. Last time I made barbecue sauce, it took me like 8 or 9 hours to cook everything down. So that is what I'm trying to omit this year by using this process. Okay, so now that our veggies have been sitting here in the strainer in the sink, I'm trying to release as much liquids as we can. I'm simply going to ladle them into my food processor in batches. And we'll go ahead and chuck all those in there, and we'll puree them down. And hopefully, I'm really hoping this process works because like I said, this is a whole new process to me, trying to omit the 8-hour cook down to thicken my sauce. So we're gonna go ahead and get that going, puree it down. It won't take much because they're super soft already from cooking for an hour and a half, a little longer. I might or might not have gotten caught up doing a little bit of fall decorating that I said I wasn't going to do yet. So we've gotten that part done. And what I'm going to do here, see if I can show you, is that the puree, once it comes out of here, I'm dumping it into another fine mesh colander, and we will go ahead and just give that some taps and shakes, and we're trying to get that stuff all out, all the goop out, and you can see it all draining because I want that liquid, but I don't want all this seedy stuff. So I'm kind of wondering if this is the best solution for my my problems here with this taking a long time, because I feel like this will absolutely take forever. So if I see that this is taking forever, because I'm still on pan number 1 from the oven, I actually thinking here, I might actually try to bust out my food mill and see if I can run that puree through my food mill and see if that will omit all my seeds and everything, my seeds and skins and everything, and see if I can bump this process along. Because like I said, it is 12:30 right now, and I was really hoping to be done with all of this by about 2 o'clock. And as usual, underestimating everything on time. And as of right now, I'm really not thinking I'm going to make it. So we need to speed this up as much as we can. So yeah, I don't know. To be announced, but I may try the food mill. Okay, so I tried the food mill. So I'm coming back to the food mill process. And hands down, way easier, way faster. I am whipping through this process now. So for me, X-nay on sitting there and letting it drain out, because I ain't got that kind of time ever. So so kicked it in this food mill, hand cranking it. I'm just disposing of my like pulpy stuff that I don't want in my sauce. You can absolutely take that, use it, throw it in your dehydrator, you turn it into a powder for later use. For me today, it's chicken food, but definitely using the food mill, and hopefully we can whip right through this. I've got about 20 minutes till 1 o'clock, and my goal is to get through these other 3 pans and be done with this process here within the next 20 minutes. So let's go. All right, we made the 1 o'clock deadline. Actually finished with a couple minutes to spare, but now that I've gotten everything else out for the next steps, it's 1 o'clock. But I gotta tell you, I'm a clean as I go person. I don't like to be rushed during my cannings, and I'm 100% rushed right now. And inside, my anxiety is boiling over because of the mess that I have in my kitchen. And I know that I can't clean as I go, and I am literally going to have to leave and go get my kids and come back home and walk into my house with all of this mess sitting here waiting for me. I mean, that's best case scenario. I mean, look at my sink. Look at my colanders. I have spatters literally everywhere. I have a bucket that is just an absolute disaster. My food mill, awful. I mean, I've got, look at all these dirty dishes. Get out of town. So anyways, but I did want to show you one thing that I really dug about using this food mill, is that you get all that like pulpy puree stuff that goes into your sauce by using that food mill. So you can see it, but you can see like just this thick pulpy puree. So I am absolutely stoked that I got to add all that in, because I'm going to add in tomato paste anyway to thicken this up, but that definitely helps. So I'm really excited about this. So what I'm gonna do here is next I'm gonna put like a cup of apple cider vinegar. This is actually all I have left from last year's apples. I did make my own apple cider vinegar last year, and a little bit of balsamic. some salt. I'm going to put a few cups of brown sugar in that. I'm going to add some ground yellow mustard, some smoked paprika. I'm going to add a little chipotle pepper grind that I get from a local store here down the road to give it a little bit of a kick. And like I said, all of that tomato paste. I'm going to add an attempt to thicken this up even more. I do not any longer make my own. I haven't made tomato paste in years because frankly, it is so time consuming, such a mess. And for $1, I can go and buy a can. And so that is just my easy way out on tomato paste. So, all right, we're going to add all of these ingredients. We're going to get this on the stove. And then I need that to simmer for me for about a half an hour before I add in our next ingredients and hopefully get this done and on the canner. So, all right, here we go. It is absolutely pedal to the metal. And did I mention that I hate being rushed while I'm canning? Me with my tomato finger here. Yes, I hate it. But anyways, that's the boat that we're in today. So go, go, go. All right, I have everything mixed in the pan now. But I don't know if you can see it from the angle, but I have all this tomato paste kind of hanging out on top. And I also don't remember if I let you know that I'm in a huge hurry. So I don't have time for this tomato paste to slowly kind of melt down into my stuff. So I did grab the immersion blender here. And I'm going to kind of use that to try to blend that in a little quicker, because I am literally grabbing at all resources today, trying to do everything as absolutely quickly as possible and find the best avenue to hurry every step of everything that I'm doing along here. Because worst case scenario, I really need to be finishing all of this up in like an hour. And yeah, so we're gonna use this immersion blender, kind of get the paste all mixed in and worked in, and hopefully that'll give this stuff some time to simmer for the length of time that I need it to simmer. And yeah, we'll come back with the next step, because funny story on that. So the sauce has been simmering for about 25 minutes or so. And so now the next ingredient that we are going to add in, I definitely did not have on hand. I asked my husband to search through the stash that we have. We definitely didn't have it. And so I had to go out hunting this morning. Turns out liquor stores do open in the morning time. And so there I was doing an early morning run with our last ingredient here. And so a cup of some Jack Daniel's whiskey is what I will be adding in here. So asked my husband if we had any on hand, and of course he said no, but we had some different kind. And he was like, I don't know. And we talked about, oh, what am I supposed to smell it and see if it smells? I mean, I cannot. So I absolutely cannot do whiskey. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and just pour that whiskey in there. And we'll stir that in, and we will allow that to simmer in here with everything for about 10 minutes. And yes, my pot is totally about to overflow. I underestimated just how full this would get. But this is my favorite pan, and so I really wanted to use it. So we're just going to stir really carefully and hopefully not make a mess. So this is the last part of our process here. So we're going to let this simmer in here for about 10 minutes or so. And then we are going to start ladling into pint jars and be on the home stretch. So here we go for our last 10-minute wait, and we'll get that canner ready. I've pulled everything off. I've managed to transfer this from the stove to my counter without making a mess. Shocking. So I'm going to go ahead and start ladling this into pint jars. Again, I have no idea how many jars this recipe makes. So I am putting it in pints, and I'm going to guesstimate 15 jars. Hopefully I'm close. Anyway, and then obviously with ladling, if I mentioned before in some of my other videos and stuff, I do not worry about headspace. Headspace is never a thing for me. I simply fill to the neck of the jar. And I will go ahead and I will grab my lids and my seals and my rings, and I will put those on, and then we will transfer those to the hot water bath. I do already have my canners on the stove. I put hot water as I could get into those, and I do already have my burners on, so that water is hot because my contents that are in my jar are very hot. I want to try to match that level of heat in my canner system already, so there won't be any kind of temperature fluctuation whatsoever. So hot contents, hot bath already. So we'll get all of these jars filled. Hopefully I'm, close in ballparking at 15, and we will get those all loaded up. So we'll see you soon. So both canners are full. I did in fact end up with 16, not 15, so I was close on my guesstimation. Which 16 pints are all I can fit in 2 full-size canners anyway. So I do have a little bit extra, like maybe enough for one more, but that works out fine and perfect for us anyway, because I'll just go ahead and jar it up, and we'll just, I just won't seal it, and we'll just have it to use now. But both canners, as you can see, are full. And I'm going to put the lids on those and get those to a rolling boil, which they're really close right now already anyway. So once those hit a rolling boil, I'll let them hot water bath for 10-15 minutes. And I'm only doing that amount of time because the contents of the jar are already so hot that the only reason why you hot water bath is to seal. And I just need the contents to get to a hot enough point, even on the inside and the middle, so that when the cooling process happens, it will create that vacuum to seal my jars, or to seal my lids down. So 10-15 minutes on this is all I need. I don't need it to cook any longer. I've already cooked it long enough. The contents are already mushed, so you can't really over water bath it. So if it makes you feel better to water bath it for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, like, you can't really over water bath it because the contents are already liquidy mush anyway. So you can do whatever you feel safe doing, but for me, this actually isn't because I'm in a hurry. It's just because that's what I would do anyway. So as soon as that hits a rolling boil, I will go ahead and set my timer up, and 10-15 minutes, I will take these off, place them on a towel, cover them, and whew, we are done. And I think I'm going to make it out of here in time to go get my kiddos. So perfect. All right. Hopefully this was helpful. Any comments, questions, anything that you do differently? I'm always interested to know what other people's processes are, and I love learning new things from other people who have their own ways of going about stuff. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed, what is today? Tuesday? Tuesday.